Yes, that's right. Welcome to a very important Bladtcast. Last week we had Bladtcast 419, and then it dawned on me, oh, we have the next week we have Bladtcast 420. We should do that. So here we are, and as always, I'm Christian Blatt, joined by Will Sterling, who is really enjoying his microphone, isn't he?
I got an external microphone.
And usually
I
when
sound
we
really great in my headphones, and I'm like, oh, yes.
Let's be honest, you sound amazing, and it's great that it took a whole year of pandemic for you to finally go like, all right, I guess I need an external microphone.
I should get one. I don't use it for work calls. It's funny. I just only use it for stuff like this.
Yeah, I guess after a year, it probably shouldn't just sound like this when I talk on a show.
That's true.
Not when I can sound like this. The dulcet tones of Will Sterling. At Will Sterling _
Will Sterling.
Well,
Sterling.
We're stirling up the pot. And of course, here is the one, the only Mr. Jeff Duray. Jeff, are you standing?
Yes.
I like this.
You're at a sit-stand desk?
You have one of those, yeah, you have a standing desk for when you do podcasting?
Natasha got me one of those, like, standy, sit-stand, pull it up. So I put it on top of the desk that I'd already been using. So, standing today. Stand and deliver nothing. What's that?
I said you got to protect that hip and your back.
Oh, yeah. My hip's fucked. But, like, I have an extra joint there now from all the sitting I've done for years.
Yep. Sorry, so, yeah. You have an extra what?
You ever notice, like, when you sit forever, it's almost like you start to get those extra creases in spots.
Yeah, where your body shouldn't move.
Knuckle on your body, where your body is not supposed to be because you just slouch in your chair 24/7.
You're talking to a guy who is days away from being 45. So my creases have creases at this point. So I can certainly relate to it. I felt like if we were going to do a Bladtcast episode 420, a 420 Bladtcast, we shouldn't go live. We should just record it,
Yeah, I was looking at the comments and I was like, "Where is everybody?" Oh, that's right. We're
we told them them not to be here. But I did solicit questions from Twitter, and I got one, and it's not from anybody that you would expect.
Got one.
By the way, I did it like an hour ago, so that's my fault. That was just me realizing, like, oh, what if I had done that yesterday? Steph Finn on Twitter, and she's been on before. I feel like it's short for Stephanie Finnegan or Stephanie Feynman, or Finley. She was an old DMZ listener, and she was one of our DMZ spotlights on an early Bladtcast, which was really? When we would try and highlight
this whole time.
I don't know about listening the whole time, but she followed me on social media, and she had a question. Well, now we know who let the dogs out. Nobody, because they're here.
The Baja Blast men.
The Baja Blast. So she has two questions for us. One, as your personal and professional life changes, how do you manage to incorporate developments into the Bladtcast? Do you assume audience is also evolving and growing? I'll take the last part first. No. The audience is neither evolving nor growing. Here we are celebrating, commemorating Bladtcast 420. And I think it's time to trot out our new slogan, which is we have more episodes than listeners.
Do we now? Have we crossed that threshold?
We may not have quite crossed the threshold, but I think it's funny to say. And
what is our average episode download like? After a month?
A low one is like 300.
Okay.
But now that they're in both places, you have the SoundCloud, which if somebody listens on Apple Podcasts or Google or something, it shows up on SoundCloud. At least I think so. You guys could tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. And then for the YouTube versions, depends on what it is. Some of them, depends on who's on, because I will definitely get a lot of the, Dennis Miller fans. Like when Lindsay was on, like 800 people had listened or watched that one in the course of the first week. Yeah, well, they love her. They didn't like me. They loved her. So so you have those, and every once in a while, people turn out for but there was a point. There was a recent Dennis was on episode 400, and more people tuned in to see Lindsay on the Bladtcast than tuned in to see Dennis Miller. So
I think I know why.
Yes, exactly. But Dennis was on and he asked, "You good?" So, yeah, I don't know. I think that we've done a pretty decent job of incorporating life changes. We've had, I've had a couple of kids born. Will has gone through some changes. You used to
Just
live
like David
somewhere
Bowie.
else. You used to live, yeah, yeah. Turn and face the strain. Will.
That's right.
Or face the strange,
still...
really, Jeff. Right? Turn and face the strange. Is that?
That was what I tried to do for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess you didn't want to keep your face there for that long. So,
a couple years.
Yeah. And Jeff has. Jeff,
I'm a case study for the horrors of depression and anxiety riddling one's body and soul.
Yeah, well, because you moved back. You've now moved back.
That's so sad. But
to Massachusetts for the second time. There's nothing sad about it. It's just the truth. I don't know. I don't think that there's been much. I think that after hashtag Dave the Dog, hashtag RIP, right after he passed away, I think we didn't talk about it for a little while. But then you wanted people to know, but we didn't hide that. You were quicker to talk about your divorce than the passing of Dave, because I think you can just point to which one of those is more upsetting. That's just me. That's just a statement of hashtag facts.
So I told you about the divorce, hey, by the way, we're breaking up. Anyway, let's get back to the show.
When we were recording our Wonder Woman 2017. I was going to say Wonder Woman 1917, but that's not that far.
That's good.
I think it was 1919, right. But it's close. It's close enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the middle of that episode, you're like, It's just
by the way, much better recap episode than for 1984, which was just so sad.
I don't know. I think we had a lot of fun when we recap.
I mean, we did. We did. Isn't it weird that Trump is now just relegated to just being a meme?
Did you guys see the letter that he wrote to SAG-AFTRA resigning his membership?
No, he wrote a letter.
Oh, it's hilarious! Come on, how have you not read it?
Well,
I didn't realize he had to write a letter.
I'm gonna.
I didn't realize he had to write a letter.
Well, they were about to do a hearing, and so he preemptively wrote a letter about it. And I was talking about this on the show we do on the Bladtcast YouTube channel, Biden Time. We mentioned the fact that he had done this, and it's crazy to think about. So the fact that the former president, who is also a game show host, had to write a professional letter to Andrea from 90210 because Gabriel Carteris is the president of SAG-AFTRA. And so he had to write this letter, and he wrote it on I think stationery that maybe he's not allowed to use anymore, but he must have stolen.
White House stationery?
Yeah, it had the presidential.
He's a former president
seal at the top,
I think he's allowed to.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I think you can't use the seal. But yeah, but I mean, some people took issue with the fact that he signed to President Trump. But it's like, yeah, but I mean, he was President Clinton, President Carter. After
it's not going to do us any good denying this part of our history. You know what I mean? Yeah. As much as we don't want to say President Trump, it is what it is. Just do it.
Yeah. So it's a pretty amazing turn of events. And Jeff, I'm glad that you read it.
Should I read it? Are you going to read it?
Well, I was going to read it, but it's funny because the version that I found yesterday was very easy to read. And
post it in the comments.
What's that? Oh, the comments. Yeah. So there's some key moments to it. So he does in fact write to Gabriel Carteris, and it says, see, here's the problem is that I found such a nice version of it yesterday, and it's like, all I want is that size, but that's all right. So I've got it now. Ms. Carteris, I write to you today regarding the so-called disciplinary committee hearing aimed at revoking my union membership. Who cares? While I'm not familiar with your work, I'm very proud of my work on movies such as Home Alone 2, Zoolander, and Wall Street Money Never Sleeps.
And then you did not say this.
I literally thought it was satire when I first read it. I was like, what hilarious person wrote this?
Because you're like, oh man, The Onion has hired new writers. And by the way, no one is proud of their work in Wall Street Money Never Sleeps. Let's just point that out.
This is real?
And television shows.
He pointed out he was in Home Alone because didn't they like cut him, or didn't they talk about cutting him out? Or
for the TV edit this past couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, well, there is an alternate version that they use in other countries where I guess he talks to Christopher Plummer, who just passed away the other day. So R.I.P. We'll talk about him in a little bit if I can remember.
That's not true.
Knives Out.
But there's an alternate version where Macaulay Culkin.
No, there is. They like didn't usually show it because people didn't know who Donald Trump was in a lot of the country. You know.
Oh wow! God, I'm learning so many new things today. So Donald Trump says Home Alone 2. This is real. Okay, continue.
This is real, except I can't find it. I was reading it. I know, but I hear.
We didn't tell people we're like 10 minutes in or 15 minutes in. We haven't really.
I know. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. It's fine.
It's for a reason, I guess.
You know, it is what it is. So let's see. So I did the Who Cares. I mentioned Wall Street 2, Book of Shadows, which I thought was good. And television shows, including The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Saturday Night Live, and of course, one of the most successful shows in television history, The Apprentice, just to name a few. I've also greatly helped the cable news television business, parentheses, said to be a dying platform with not much time left until I got involved in politics, close parentheses, and created thousands of jobs in networks such as MSDNC and Fake News CNN, among many others. It brings me to your blatant attempt at free media attention to distract from your dismal record as a union. Your organization has done little for its members and nothing for me, besides collecting dues and promoting dangerous un-American policies and ideas. Well, they have that in common. As evident by your massive unemployment rates, they have that in common. And lawsuits, they have that in common. From celebrated actors who even recorded a video asking, why isn't the union fighting for me? These, however, policy failures or disciplinary failures are even more egregious. I no longer wish to be associated with your union. As such, this letter is to inform you of my immediate resignation from SAG-AFTRA. You have done nothing for me. Regards, President Donald J. Trump.
Wow.
So yeah, it's I think it's one of those things. Will, you're in SAG, right?
Yeah.
You have to keep it going to
pay your dues.
You got to pay your dues, and I don't know how much money's coming.
Old Jack Burton says, "Always pay your dues."
There's less money coming in, you know, and there's probably a lot going out. Right now. He's like, when's he gonna need that SAG membership? Anyway, so you know,
he's on the health. He needs the health care from SAG. He's not on the White House health care.
He was supposed to replace health care, and then he would have been fine. But I digress.
Repeal and replace.
So yeah, so I thought that that was a fairly entertaining thing, and then I read that, and I was just like, man, 74 million people wanted more of that letter. Like they wanted to live that letter. They wanted 4 more years of that letter.
I have a theory, honestly. Like, he's so creative and funny at times. And this is probably going to get this podcast flagged for like disinformation. But like, what if Donald Trump is Q? He is the one coming up with this QAnon shit. Because like the way his psycho brain like comes up with ways to be like, yeah, and you know what? You're all assholes because I'm the greatest. Obviously, all the shit I've done is amazing.
Honestly, would not be surprised.
Where I neglected a child and told him, "You're lost in the city. Good luck, bitch." There's a great outtake of that scene where he's like, "Eric, oh, sorry, wait," and
yeah. So I don't quite know how we got to that one from our letter from Stephanie, but we appreciate her letter. So anyway, I just
think that he easily could be Q. I think that makes a lot of sense. He's been running this disinformation campaign about the legality of elections, about voter fraud, all these things, his entire campaign. And it just so happens QAnon really started, like, you know, when he took over.
Right. What were you going to say? What were you saying, Jeff?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but he has a history of pretending to be other people. Back in like the 80s or 90s, he'd pretend to be his own PR person and make up stories about how great he was and all the shit he was doing.
Well, and he would be on conference calls and he would ask questions. That's how they know it's true, because there's recordings of it. Yeah, but that's all right. Look, people vote the way they vote. I just think it's funny that he wrote that letter to resign from SAG-AFTRA. SAG-AFTRA, by the way, had a great response. Thank you.
Yeah,
that was it. I think that was their memo.
You've done nothing for me.
So the second the second part of Stephanie's question, do you worry you might run out of things to talk about? One day you will realize you've said it all. So we're at episode 420 right now. And I think that, I don't know, maybe 400 episodes ago, we ran out of things to talk about. I guess it's arguable, though, because Jeff didn't come on until right around episode 100. So that changed. We did. So let's say we've had about 300 episodes since we've had anything to talk about. So, Jeff, I'm thinking you were good for 20 episodes worth of topics.
I mean, I had a bunch of wild antics from when I was a young single man in Los Angeles. So I had a lot of good stories from that.
Jeff's evolution, all of our evolutions on this podcast, interesting. Except for Coltrane, we'll never know because he just disappeared. And Bujenski is pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, Bujenski, it's a pretty straight line. Although not as straight as he likes to think it is, but it's a pretty straight line. And Coltrane, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the only difference for me is that I have kids. I guess it's like
I was gonna say, yeah. Other than that, you've changed not at all. Nothing major.
General decline in abilities, in energy,
inabilities to go to Planet Fitness. It's closed.
Look, I would get a pump. No, honestly, if it was open tomorrow, I wouldn't go.
And then note that I came in exactly when you started having kids, because it was within a month of me meeting you that you announced that Heather was pregnant with Felix.
Yeah, we had a big karaoke
the birthday night, yeah.
Which, by the way, I tested out with a select group of friends, part of our karaoke crew, just last night.
The CIA's bugging. It's after all my.
They heard your Q theory, but they cut Christian instead of you.
No.
What always happens to him?
Zoom.
Oh,
there he goes.
Oh, he's coming back. Hey,
it's probably because I was hosting. Yeah. Well, it's because it's the weekend. I have to be down here, and when I can be hardwired, it's usually a little better.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but it's true. I should just have Jeff host it in the future. It'll just be easier. Anyway, so I was saying that I tested out a virtual karaoke party, and it went really well. I thought it was going to have a delay and echo and stuff like that, and it had a pretty decent song selection, and it was fun. And the other I did it with, it was oh my God, why did we not have a virtual karaoke party at some point sooner in the last 11 months, So
it's a good question.
I don't know. I'm putting it out to people,
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just so long as you're not hosting.
So that was one of the that was one of the first. Well, I did host it from the garage, but it was the big part of the garage, not back here, But I don't know. I don't run the system. This I'm running the whole operation. But yeah, Jeff, that was like a month in, and it's funny because we're talking about the early days. There was that picture that came up in my Facebook memories, if you remember, that I shared with you guys over the weekend, which was one of my hope for our vision. So it says BFF. Jeff and Christian with a heart, and then David, that's Liev. Tears.
Did he freeze right on that one?
Masturbation. No wonder I couldn't figure out what that said.
I was like, did you freeze right then?
Tears for masturbation. Classic.
The best part is that Coltrane drew that.
Yeah. So that was a pretty classic. When he was pretending that he had left the studio.
That was
anyway, so I don't know. I feel like we ran out of stuff to talk about a long time ago.
We're done.
There's always stuff to comment on in the world. Well, yeah, we certainly ran out of stuff for this one, but that's all right. I mean, look, we're finally getting the Snyder cut of Justice League, so we're gonna have to talk about that just as soon as I can find 4 hours to sit through the thing.
Isn't only 1 hour gonna come out?
No, it's all at once.
No, it's gonna be all at once. Yeah, it was going to be you were gonna have the option to watch 4 individual 1-hour episodes, and then they're like, just give them the whole thing. Like, let's not.
It's the Gone with the Wind of superhero movies. We don't know if it'll be any good, but we'll see.
But let's be honest, we're in the pandemic. You're telling me people don't have 4-hour stretches to kill sometimes? Like it is a reality of our lives right now. So let's do it.
Well, see, I was really excited for Wonder Woman 2 to be 2.5 hours because I was like, I like long superhero movies if it's characters that I like. And it turns out if those movies aren't very good, 2.5 hours feels like a really long time. So if this is bad, 4 hours is going to feel like an eternity.
That's why I always point to 2020's greatest superhero film, New Mutants, 90 minutes. You get in, you get out, nobody gets hurt. Well, somebody gets hurt.
That's the studio was like, you have to make Justice League 2 hours. Joss Whedon. He's like, okay, here. I just hacked out a bunch of shit. Put in a Russian family. You're done.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about the Russian family.
My favorite thing was somebody tweeted or messaged like Zack Snyder. This is before the Snyder Cut was released, just in these past couple of years. And they're like, are you going to keep the Russian family in your cut of the film? And his response was, what Russian family? I was like, that's good. Great addition. What a good idea. Joss.
Well, when we had our Eastern European family in Age of Ultron, it gave us Wanda and her brother. So, obviously, yeah. Anyway.
He did a good job with Avengers. And so then he was like, what can I get away with Ultron? And then he was like, how can I apply all the what I shouldn't have done on Ultron to Justice League?
Yeah, like, okay, so this movie's mostly done. What can I do to make it even worse? Oh my God, there's got to be some options in here.
Can I get Cyborg to say "booyah," please?
And I heard that that's not going to be in the Snyder Cut. Cyborg saying "booyah."
Because didn't he never say it? That was like the whole one of the big things where he was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I don't say "booyah." This is not the cartoon.
I thought he did say it in the movie. Now I don't remember. I'll have to ask our friend Raging Rhino. He saw it in the theater 7 times. No, yeah, I know he says it in the cartoon. Yeah, but I thought he said it in the Whedon cut of Justice League. But somebody correct me. See, if we had our live chat of people, they probably still wouldn't help us. They like to see us flounder like this. Anyway, So what do we want to help people that we've done 23 minutes? And look, I think it's a serviceable 23 minutes. I had a lot of trouble reading that memo from former President Donald Trump, but I swear that was really the font size. That wasn't me. I think that my Wi-Fi is more faulty than I am, but we decided the reason why this isn't live is that we decided that if we were going to do an episode 420, that we needed to commemorate 420. And for some of you, that is probably a fairly regular occurrence. One of you in particular, I feel like, Jeff, is it a regular? Chuck the pup. I'm actually talking to Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck's a big stoner.
You want to see how pampered my dog is?
Yes, please.
That's her with her blanket on the bed where she sleeps all day.
Lazy.
And that's the only blanket, so Natasha doesn't get one.
She literally has her own blankets that she gets because she's like, I get cold. She's ridiculous. She insists on being a pain in my ass. I love her.
And where's Chuck right now, Will?
I can't turn my laptop very easily, but he's sleeping over there on his bed.
Okay. Well, I got no dogs to show, so I could tilt my laptop and show you some comics, but maybe a little bit. No
dogs to show, but you can tilt your laptop and pull a tubing. You want to show that dog?
Look, we could definitely be tubing the 420 for everybody. Why not? So, anyway, so I don't know, I texted you guys about this a week ago, right? Because I had thought of it a few months ago. And then when we were getting a little bit closer, after 415, I was like, oh yeah, but I wasn't really sure what we were going to do. and how we were going to do it. What it really came down to was when can anybody who is professional and has to keep their wits about them during the week, when can they do it? And that's really, I don't want to speak for Jeff, but really at this point, it's just Will, right? I mean, Will is really the only one who has to,
Funny thing is, since I said that, like this last week was like nuts. I was doing like 10
I told you were like, I'm always waiting. And I was like, oh, wait, just wait. There's some things coming your way.
Yeah.
Well, so it's just
hopefully it's not bad. Hopefully it's good. Good busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. All right. So that's good. It's good to be busy. Yeah. Well, I tend to not be that busy. So, but there was a scheduling issue, and not even an issue. It was just we had to figure out the logistics of it. So we figured the weekend, and I then had to make sure my wife was cool with it, which she was, by the way. So
she jealous?
A little, actually, yeah. She's got to put the kids down for a nap, and I tell you, the early part of this day before we started this was not going smoothly. Felix signed up to have a pen pal through his school, and it was a challenge to get him to write the 2-sentence first email. And then he got the email, not email, it's just a regular letter. And then he got the letter back from the other kid. And then she was like,
okay, it was Donald Trump's letter to SAG.
Yeah.
You've done nothing for me.
So Felix wrote, I'm not familiar with your work, but I have been a part of. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. Perhaps you recognize me from such instructional films as Alice's Adventures Through the Windshield Glass. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. Perhaps you know me from previous funerals. Andre the Giant. Today we mourn a stooge. I usually remember those better. I have those in my head, usually a little bit less jumbly. But in any case, anyway, so he was just, one day he'll listen back to this, and I'll just tell him that on February 6th, 2021, you were being such a dick about writing a 2-sentence, Happy Valentine's Day. My favorite color is green. Your friend Felix. That's what we need.
So he was just like, no, I just don't want to do it.
No, I just don't want to. I want to do it later. I don't want to do it now. I want to do this. I'm tired, and it turned into it snowballs. He's learning
the great art of procrastination. He's going to do very well.
And we fed the procrastination through part of the morning, and then it was like I was trying to get it out of the way before this, and I'm just like, well, I know what'll help. So anyway. That was the beginning part of the day. So Heather's contending with that while I'm down here.
Quick question. Yeah. Again, I imagined originally that his pen pal was like someone they set up through prison that he's writing.
It's Paddington when he goes to prison in the second one. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize he went in. Was Peter Capaldi in the second one?
He's in both of them.
Oh, I love that he was in the first one. I saw the first one. I thought it was great that he was like the neighbor.
Who?
Peter Capaldi.
Don't trust you, Bear.
So Felix is writing to a nice birthday party clown who is, I guess, away for a little while. He's dead now, actually, isn't he? So that's all right. It's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was the beginning part of the day. But so we structured it, and I admit that I'm definitely a bit of a baby when it comes to this stuff because I had a couple of. Well, I had one time that I did edibles, and I think I talked about it on here. Although maybe I didn't do it right away, but I went with my friend. Let's just say a friend that I've known for a long time. I don't need to put anybody's name out there, and he thought it was a good idea to do it before Halloween Horror Nights up at Universal.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, it probably was for him, but I don't do this stuff very often. And look, it was okay. But like eating a churro was very surreal because it was I could taste like the little grains of cinnamon. And I was just like, I'm like, oh, this is weird. But then it was also like, I took a bite. It was like in my head, like the crunching. And I'm like, oh, can I get it to be quieter? Maybe if I bite really slow. And so then you have like the like Walking Dead are coming after you, but they can't touch you, and so you just that you're gonna be fine. But then there was another one though where for for a special occasion, I got some edibles from a friend who is, well versed in these things, and I couldn't sleep that night. Just like everything, like my heart was racing, the room was racing, and then I threw up all over the car the next day. So that was the bad story. But I don't know. My favorite and probably the funniest was just the pot brownies that a friend of mine made when we rented a house in Martha's Vineyard after we graduated from college. I think I've told this story before, I'm pretty sure. And just the short of it is that we had them before we went out to dinner, and I'm sitting there at the dinner table at the restaurant, and I'm just like, hey, I need to go lay down in the car. I can't sit here. And I went home. And I remember I laid down and I'm like, okay, it's 8:30. I'll get up in a little bit and we'll do some drinking and have some fun. So I went to bed like 8:30 and I woke up. It was 10, but it was 10 in the morning, and it was one of those like that, like the time 8:30 at night. Yeah, like it was like, what? Who put the sun there? So that one was a fun one. The Halloween Horror Nights was okay. But what I really didn't want to recreate was the throw up all over the car.
Yeah.
And that was ahead of like a 2-hour car trip. And like 5 minutes in, I threw up in the car. So, yeah, it was bad. So,
I remember one time there was some brownies on a plate at a party at Jeff's house, and they didn't taste like edibles at all. So I ate like 5. And then I was like driving home because I only had like 3 beers, and I was like, all right, I'm out of here. And I was driving home, and like halfway home, I was like, oh my God, I'm high. Like, I was like, why do I feel like this? And then I was like, wait, why? So then I thought, and I was like, oh, the brownies. And I texted him, and he's like, oh yeah, that some were normal and some were not, in 2 different plates. Did you eat them from this plate? And I was like, yeah, I think I did. So then that's the night where I sat for like 25 minutes Instagram storying my entire recap of the episode of Frasier where Frasier's dad accidentally gets high.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
I think the most ridiculous edibles, because I don't eat edibles a ton, but this was like back when nothing was really regulated, when it was just medical in California, but it was like the most loose medical, like do whatever you want.
Yep.
And so somebody wanted me to like get some stuff, so I went and got these muffins for each of us. And like originally I was just getting it for them, and then I got one for myself because I was like, all right, this looks interesting. And this was, I think it was literally like 1,000 milligrams. So this is like, the person at the store was like, do not eat more than a quarter of this, like ever. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went back and met up with this person and ate the whole thing. And so then I went home. This is when I was living in Glendale, and I rode my bike to the Glendale Galleria and like went sunglass shopping. And I was like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good. Like this girl at the Sunglass Hut was hitting on me, but I was like, not equipped right now. Like, gotta go. And I rode my bike home, ordered a pizza, was like, I'm feeling good. Like, this is awesome. I don't know what they were talking about. And in between the time I ordered this pizza and it got there, I was just like, boom, down for the count. Pizza showed up. I'm like, just like out. The weekend was gone. Like, it was just like sleepy time for 2 days straight. So yeah, that was my fun.
Well, that's interesting because you said you had 1,000 milligrams.
That sounds like an impossible amount. Like a Chiba Chew's like 100, right?
This was when shit was like really unregulated.
So they couldn't really measure it.
They were just like fridge, and they had like a couple of these, and the people were like, "Please don't eat more than a quarter, like at all." Yeah. And that's like people who expect you to eat a good amount or like do a lot, right? So, I mean, maybe it wasn't 1,000. I don't remember exactly how much it was. I know it was an amount you are never supposed to consume ever. And I was like, yep.
Well, that was
the other person had pretty much the same, like they didn't go riding their bike, but they said the same thing of like, oh, weekend was gone. Like, it was like, I saw them again on Monday and they were like, what? I'm like only just coming back to reality. So
that's funny.
It was a bad time. You're not gonna have a good time.
A friend of mine did that with the Chiba Chew. They just gave it to him. He's like, "Oh, great!" So he ate it because it's not that like big, and thought it was just like one thing. And they were like, "That's 100 milligrams," and he was like, "Uh-oh." And he said he was on the moon. Is how he felt. I was like,
sweet.
Yeah. It always sucks when you do too much of something too late at night. You know, like you drink. People are like, "Hey, isn't it a good idea to do these mushrooms?" You're like, probably not now, but like. I feel like
the problem with psilocybin literally keeps you awake. So if you eat it, you're not going to sleep. Like you're like, all right, let me just like take a nap.
Yeah.
See, I just did them again, and they didn't do much besides like a body high. It wasn't.
Yeah, that's the biggest. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess we can point to the pandemic, but also Jeff moving really infringed on our Bladtcast Joshua Tree shroom trip that we had. I think we like just started like talking about it, like we would really do it.
Yeah.
In that last episode we recorded together at Will's house in like early March.
Oh. was that when I was like really sick, but it was pre-COVID, so we didn't think I had COVID? Remember I recorded and I was like,
that was a different time though. Okay. I remember a time that you were sick, and it was pre-COVID, which means that actually you started it.
I probably had COVID first.
You were
my name is actually John COVID.
Yeah. Johnny COVID.
Johnny COVID.
Yeah. So we didn't ever get to do that, and I never got to. Jeff, you have your spot out there in Joshua Tree that you would have helped. We would all gone there. Or no, I think we talked about it, and the idea of doing it outside was like, just do it at a house, right?
I think for you guys, that's probably a good idea, because it's like when I was doing them out camping, I had been doing drugs and camping regularly, so like neither of them were a problem for me.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, maybe one day, you'll find your way back to the tree, as in the Joshua Tree. The story that I was talking about, where I threw up in the car, those were also like a muffin. It's also kind of the same time period you're talking about. But nobody told me only eat a quarter of it. I probably ate. I don't know how much I ate, but I could not sleep, and it was crazy. And then when I finally tried to calm down the next day, my body was like, "Oh, I know how to handle this," all over the car. So
first time I did an edible was a cookie, and a friend was like, "Only eat a quarter," same kind of deal. And I was like, "Okay." And they're like, "An hour? How do you feel?" I was like, "I feel fine." Nicole at the time had eaten another quarter, and she was like, "I'm just tired." And they were like, "Well, I guess you could eat the other half if you're not feeling anything." I was like, "Cool." So I finished it, and then I woke up in the middle of the night because she was like, "Hey, I have to pee, but I don't want to walk in the like woods alone," because we were camping. And I was like, "Okay." And I remember standing up, and it felt like my brain was like a pilot in my Gundam body, but my giant robot body like would not. I was like, "No, like good," trying to make it work, and it was like falling down. So I tried to pee, and I just peed all over my hands and all over myself. Trying to pee into the river, and instead I just peed on myself.
Well, now I need to mark this episode for explicit content, because that's so hot, that description of Will peeing all over his hands. A lot of our listeners are going to feel pretty strongly about it.
I don't know why it was my hands. I just remember even in that moment being like, "Why am I peeing on my hands? Stop. What?" My consciousness was like separate from my body. It was not fun.
Gotta catch him.
Yeah.
Oh. So they told you to have a quarter, and you ended up having 3 quarters, right?
3 quarters. Yeah.
And Nicole had the quarter and was just like, "I'm tired. I'm just tired."
Yeah, but that was the first time I tried any THC ever.
Oh, that was the first anything.
Yeah. I've been drinking, but no marijuana.
I actually can't remember the first time that I tried anything. It was
it's because you're that much of a druggie.
Yeah, man.
I can't remember the first time I tried anything.
Yeah, I remember the first time I got high. It was the summer after 6th grade, and I was playing Parappa the Rappa. And
I forgot about
Parappa the Rappa.
And I was like, "Am I on a roller coaster? What is happening here?"
How did you get high?
I was gonna say, what are the
my older sister was a bit of a druggie, and she was like a senior in high school, so they were doing drugs, and I don't even think I smoked myself. It was like secondhand. They blew it in my face, and I was like definitely got high because I was like, what is going on, guys? I feel weird. But I was also, again, going into 7th grade. So
I'm now going down the spiral of Parappa the Rapper.
Kick, punch,
I don't even know.
In your mind if you want to test me. I'm sure find me the king.
I don't know what is Parappa the Rapper.
It was a PlayStation game where you literally had to like hit the button at the right time for your guy to rap along to this like thing. The first level was like a karate onion, and the second level was learning how to drive. So the whole storyline, if you want to know, is this guy Parappa wants a girlfriend, and he likes this girl who's a flower named Sunny. And they watch a superhero movie, then they go hang out with their friends. Then he's like, I got to figure out a way to make Sunny like me. I got to believe. And then he's like, goes to learn karate. But instead of just doing karate, you're rapping karate. And then he's like, oh, I got to get a car so I can take her on the date. And so instead of just learning how to drive, you rap how to drive, get through that. Then you're like, all right, I need some like gifts for her. So you rap haggle with a frog at a flea market. And then I think, and then you rap along with a chicken who's a TV chef to cook up the most disgusting seafood cake, literally, of all time. Then you eat said cake on a date with her, and then you get really sick to your stomach, and then you have to re-rap against all 5 people, but shorter, to pass them in line to the bathroom so you don't shit yourself and embarrass yourself too much. And then this is
why would you eat that seafood cake on your date?
Because you made it for the date. Why would you not?
No, that's the only part of this that makes sense. And by the way, just let me interject that Karate Onion is actually the subtitle for Cobra Kai season 4. I just want to make sure that we tie it all together.
I can't wait. If it's the Karate Onion guy, I will be so excited.
All right. So wait, you have to rap faster so that you can go take a shit. This is part of this.
Until you take a shit, and then this is literally like it gets faster and harder as you go.
I left the bell upstairs. God damn it.
Oh.
The third one is my favorite one in that line. It's the frog guy. I can still remember what you say. It's ribbit, ribbit. It's ribbit, ribbit. I can't hold it. Last toilet let me have me already sold it. So you have to get by this frog. He's like, no. And then they each like shit themselves as you get past.
So Will, is this game grandfathered in because it's cultural appropriation, but at a time where because it's a different time, can the game still be enjoyed in 2021?
I mean, I feel like it's also like little cartoon characters, and it's made by Japanese people. So because there's so many different things, it's like it's probably fine.
Okay, so what you're saying?
Wanting to sing
because it's cartoon characters.
No, but wanting to sing hip hop or sing, rap or be a hip hop artist, like. You don't have. It's not appropriation if you want to do that. It's just if you start acting and behaving as if a specific culture was yours, even though it is not yours. Like Eminem, he's a white rapper. He's allowed.
Yeah.
Iggy Azalea, even though she's like whatever, she's allowed to be. So you can do it. It's just don't try to be black.
Dreadlocks?
Huh?
What was that, Jeff?
What about dreadlocks?
No,
I think dreadlocks on white people is a bad idea. Don't do that. Don't do it.
I just think it doesn't look good. That's really
cornrows either. Like when in sync, like Justin Timberlake had the cornrows. Don't do it. Don't do that.
What about white girls in cornrows on vacation?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nope, never.
But they're creating jobs in the local economy.
Also wears cornrows, so on you.
Wait, what?
It's very transphobic of you because through the transitive property, Hilary Swank played a transgender in one movie and had cornrows to be a boxer in a different movie. So you saying cornrows is racist makes you transphobic.
I think somebody out there could probably make that. It's just that and I'd be like, Yeah, I guess you're right.
But what about white girls on vacation, like somewhere like Jamaica or the Bahamas, and then they get the cornrows put in, but they've created, they've stimulated the local economy by, hiring some like little kids on the beach to do cornrows in their hair. Isn't that good? Or do you think we shouldn't support third world countries?
I disagree with that scenario the way you phrased it, because if they're walking the beach and just finding children, like, here's some beads, want to put them in my hair, children? Weird. Don't do that. That's not cool.
Yeah, because that's not what I'm
walking the beach and there's kids that are like, hey, you want some braids in your hair with these beads? And you're like, sure.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. There's this goes back 20 plus years. I had a girlfriend who like went away, I don't know, to the Bahamas or something. And so this is like, we were talking on the phone and Will, this is before phones had pictures. Sometimes you would just talk on the phone and you couldn't see.
I had a phone without pictures.
I know you did.
You Nokia.
I broke one of those in half because I was mad and I was picking someone up from the airport and I smashed it. But the perfect thing was you could do speakerphone with just the bottom half, so it still worked.
I would love to see you with your broken phone.
You just have to remember people's phone numbers. You can't.
Yeah, pretty much. That was literally how it
old
worked.
School.
I did used to know. Well, I still know my wife's phone number, but I don't think she knows mine. But that's all right. Oh no! See, now I got so. Oh yeah.
So
I got a P.
675-309.
Will's got a P, but let me talk about the cornrows thing, and then Jeff and I'll vamp. Sorry. We will camp, but same difference. So, and she called me, and she had gotten back to New York here from her trip, and she said something, and she's like, "You hear that?" And it was like the beads in her hair, like they were just like hitting, And this is a really tall, like borderline albino looking white girl, like her
like
hair,
the twins from Matrix.
Basically, me as a girl, it sounds like.
Yeah, and yeah, it was like, just imagine Edgar Winter, but prettier. At least I was nice to her, just now, and I remember she just was like, "Listen to that, isn't that fun?" I'm like, "No, I don't." I was like, "I don't want to see those." So when I saw she had taken them out, it was it's all right. I was let's see, I would have been 23 at that point. That's on her for thinking that I was somebody she should have a relationship with. She was 28. She should have known better. Anyway, right. Will, you have to go. You want to go pee, or do you have?
I gotta pee. Get another drink. Are we flexible? We're not live, right?
We're not live, but I'm not gonna stop recording. I'm gonna.
Okay, don't.
Yeah. Okay, don't.
I hope some weird person come up. I was gonna say, I hope some random person off the street would just like come in and sit in Will's place.
Chair. Yeah, that would actually be fun. But no, it's just we'll look at his map. Yeah, I know. So we'll get to the. But anyway, the gist of it is sort of what the approach is for this episode, 48 minutes in. That I needed a consultation, and Jeff, we have been very upfront about your history with narcotics are a specific class, so I can't call them all narcotics, but you know what I mean. Just recreational drugs is something that you have a background in. But your girlfriend, Agent Romanoff, she it's professional, like it's her job. So like that's why I turned to the two of you. I turned to you. Well, I mean, and Will was on the text, but I was basically asking you and Natasha. I just was like, what do you guys think? So I'm a huge pussy. That's what we're going to see. I can say that now that Will walked away. Like I didn't want to tell the story about throwing up in the car, but it happened. And the Halloween Horror Nights was not as fun as it should have been, just because it was me. I got advice.
I never liked going to those like.
You don't like horror
haunted house? No, thank you. They haunted hay rides. That's what we had here because it's rural ass Massachusetts. Fuck no.
Yeah, every hayride is haunted out that way. Yeah, I mean, it was one of the earliest dates my wife and I went on was to Knott's Scary Farm, and she hates that stuff. But like a friend of hers was going, and so it was like, oh, we could go as part of a group. But it's like you come around the corner, and these like people dressed like zombies or whatever, they have like these metal cans and they shake it. So it's like somebody's like shaking their piggy bank, and every time they came by, she would like literally scream. And yeah, I mean, it's fun, you know, you're somewhere with your girlfriend or whatever, but I just started laughing more and more every time it happened. You know, I was not, I was not, so that's two examples. Look at that. Now that's a beer. Well,
classic Stein.
I got no beers down here, and that's all right.
Put your mini fridge down there, man. You gotta keep your beers.
Just got Gatorade.
I keep this mug, this big mug. It's like a pint.
Could probably have me.
I keep it in the freezer.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's right.
I think Jeff Winstead was drinking whiskey.
So
we talked about
when he was on with us.
Yeah.
He had to pour himself some whiskey.
It looked like he had like a little whiskey. I was like, oh, jealous.
Yeah, well, you know, he's a grown up. You know, he can drink whiskey while he talks.
Whiskey from the Jaro.
So through the consultation, and that's why it's so funny when you're talking about 1,000 milligrams earlier.
All right, Jeff. Now you tell me what you guys talked about before he comes back, because
we were just talking about the dosage again.
Got it.
It's hard to tell when. Oh, he's coming back around. First, I made the joke that it'd be funny if somebody just like popped into your spot. The man off the street. I just wish you were like at a cafe and some like Frenchman just comes in. He's like, "Bonjour."
Hello.
Hello.
I've always wanted to do sort of a beer like a podcast, so it is nice to see that is what you're doing this afternoon, because this was American podcast. It could be a good time.
Do you think that French guy? Do you think that French guy would be comfortable doing an impression of Watto?
It was a French
like
Watto.
Come into the studio.
The podcast guy.
I don't mean you as the French guy. If
What if we just did that? What if we culturally appropriated Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, basically made our own rip tracks? Every time one of the characters is inappropriately racist, we just revoice it with like a different appropriate.
Another white person.
Just shades of white. Because we've already whitewashed the galaxy. We might as well finish the job with
just
the accent.
The trade. What are those guys called? They have
trade federation.
Yeah, they've got just all German. I don't see why it's not. How dare you? We are invested in the success of the future of the universe.
The Jedi have arrived on our ship.
That would be so great. I saw like a Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's like sort of blue penis kind of guy. He's got like a big light sword.
The light sword. So the recommendation that I ended up getting, we're getting to the actual dosage now, was either 2.5 milligrams or 5. And what I ended up settling with was 5. And I sent you guys a picture. It's in this like little tin. So look, it's like California approved, which I think is, I'm not quite sure what that symbol means. Maybe Natasha could tell us. But anyway, so I had one of these, and it helped calm me down about the stupid pen pal thing. But and see, now we're like 53 minutes in. The point to have raised this question was probably at least a half an hour ago, because I was like, oh, should I have a second one? And Jeff, I think I probably shouldn't, especially now. But what do you think? Based on my terrible stories that I had, and terrible as in they're not that interesting. What do you think that would probably be a mistake if I doubled the dose from what I started with a little bit more than an hour ago?
I mean, it depends on what your end game is, right? So here's the thing. At this point, if you just took another one, depending on your metabolism, there probably wouldn't be a huge effect because one, it's been over an hour since you took the last one. You didn't take a very big dose. Yeah. So you'll probably metabolize it in the time that this starts to metabolize and you'd actually be getting the effects. So it'd probably just extend how long you feel something. Because especially at that dosage, this isn't going to be like your day is changed, like you're going to feel pretty good for a little while and then you'll be able to move on.
That's why those 2.5s are like, you can plus and minus. But I got to a point where I was like, I just want to know what it's like, because I kept going up more and more and more just to sort of assess tolerance and feeling. And at one point I was taking like 8 because I was like, what does 25 milligrams feel like? And then like the whole thing was gone.
Well, I think the 2.5s is really for microdosing, like, right? If you literally just kept yourself to popping one of those a day, you wouldn't even feel high, but you would get some of the effects of like, okay, I feel a little bit more relaxed. I feel a little bit more at ease about what's going on.
It definitely helps. I think like honestly coming out of quarantine, like we should be talking about microdosing for everybody. Like it will help calm, like even I know people microdosing mushrooms, which I'd like to try, but like it could calm the social anxiety, some of the scariness. Like everyone's going to have some form of PTSD coming out of this. That like,
that's true. Yeah.
If we all came out of this and just embrace microdosing a little bit to get us through some tough times, like, I think we'd be a lot better for it.
It's supposed to be good for PTSD, so we just need a rave.
Acid? Did you say acid?
I thought MDMA. Like
it is. Yeah.
They use be good for PTSD.
Listen, MDMA is a good time. I won't lie.
Just have a big old rave. We just need to have the world's biggest Burning Man.
Everyone do this, Molly.
What? So MDMA, Molly, Special K, those are all different things, or are they all kind of the same thing?
They're all shaped to the same thing. MDMA that's chemical, and then all the rest of those are names for different designer drugs designed around MDMA.
Yeah. Wait, what is Special K?
Special K is different. That's ketamine.
That's what I thought. Oh. Okay. Which is a horse tranquilizer, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, Molly is supposed to be more of like a mellow like MDMA, and ecstasy is supposed to be like the upper because there's amphetamines. But I've taken Molly before that's maybe like, fucking let's go. You're not like a psychopath.
MDMA almost always makes you go like, hello.
Really? I've had some before where I'm just like chilling. It doesn't make me like have tons of energy.
I mean, it's not necessarily about how much energy. It's supposed to, my understanding, because I didn't do a bunch of it. I've only done it like once. Forever ago.
That probably the most next to marijuana.
It's just supposed to heighten your sense of feeling and touch and all those things. So for a lot of people, when you start to feel your body, you're moving, right? But that
that's the thing. Yeah, I realized. I think maybe what it was. Well, one time I took it and I went out and it was very mellow. But like I did it. I've done it now in quarantine. But you're not going anywhere and you're with like one other person. So you're like, this is great, but it's helpful to be like at a club at somewhere that's like very busy because you're like, oh fuck, this is fucking. I hate like the depiction of drugs in movies because they're usually pretty inaccurate. You know what I mean? Like somebody does some drug and they're like, like the world looks like this. I'm like, that's fucking not what happens unless you're like on acid.
You get drugs, not when you take drugs.
Right. And or like DMT or something really extreme, I guess. But like I've been doing a lot of drug research for a script I'm writing right now, so this episode is perfectly timed.
I did DMT once.
I want to try it.
It was nuts, but it was like it lasted very, very, very short time.
Did you smoke it?
Yeah, it was really interesting because so I was at basically my old apartment, but not when it was my apartment. And like in the moment that I was in that reality, it felt like the apartment was Pee-wee's Funhouse. Like everything was that bright. Everything felt that kind of like off kilter and like odd sense of space. Meatball was next to me and she just felt like a swirl of her different colors. Like it wasn't a dog.
It's like the afterlife in Beetlejuice. The man's face is the big really beak.
That's what they say it is. Like it's the chemical that your brain produces when you die.
The spirit molecule.
Right. And so there's all sorts of people who I think Joe Rogan used to talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I watched a DMT documentary and he was like the host. They would cut to him in the interstitials, but he was so fucking terrible and he still had like a little bit of hair. And he was like clearly reading like a teleprompter. He's like, DMT is the spirit molecule. And scientists are aware that they might, I was just like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. Because the rest of the documentary was this very enlightening, professional, all these scientists, chemists, all these kind of things. And
that sounded like Dana Carvey as Joe Rogan.
I don't know how Joe Rogan. Hey, I'm Joe Rogan. I'm a fucking bro. I just do guy stuff. Yeah, let's touch dicks, but blah, blah. I hate that guy. I hate him only because people now who are asking about podcasts are like, I want to do like Joe Rogan does. I'm like, never say the fucking name Joe Rogan to me when you're talking about your podcast, because there's only one Joe Rogan and there's only one Christian Blatt, and only we are going to be that close to Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, nobody's going to get closer than we do. Thank you.
It's also become one of those things, especially as podcasts have become one of those things where it was like, I had a moment where I was watching a bunch of them, but they were mostly old ones that I was getting like popped up on my YouTube feed with like mostly scientists. Because I always it was good at letting them talk, and I was like, "Ooh, what does this person have to say?" And then it's like a dumb person asks them questions, and you're like, "That's a good question." Versus like if a science person asks them a question, I'm like, "I don't have a basis for what you're talking about. Like, think about this."
You're an idiot.
But yeah, and like it got to the point where you mentioned like, "Oh yeah, I was watching this," and people be like, "You're watching what?" And I was like, "Never mind, I don't."
It records for like 5 hours. I'm like, I'm not watching this. It's just too long.
I mean, look, a podcast that sometimes meanders into almost the 3-hour territory.
I'm not watching that. It's just too long.
Personally, I don't have a problem with that. If that's something that someone's interested in, they want that much. 2 hours and 56 minutes. That's the that's the longest. Yeah,
that beat the Spider-Man one, right? Which one was that?
Yeah, that was. I used to know, but once that beat it, it was like 220 something. I used to always remember what the length was on it.
226 or something.
Oh no. Yeah.
You mean episode number?
No. The episode number of that one was. I think it was 60. But the running time was like 2 and change. But
what was the new longest one?
I don't remember. Oh, it was. I think it was. Wait, it couldn't have been 300. Maybe it was 350. I'm trying to remember when we got to that runtime. It was. It's definitely hard to remember.
This is what I got. He's gone again. These are socials.
But
ice cream socials. You should put them in.
This is very weird. I hope the whole thing records. It's so strange. These are only 2 milligrams, so like they're kind of designed to like every, same idea, microdosing. So like I take one every hour or whatever. But then I got this Hi-Fi Hops sparkling water. It's CBD, so it's like 1 milligram THC, but 18 milligram CBD. So I'm just vibing.
So wait a minute. I missed what dosage you settled on, Will.
Oh, I got these things. They're called socials. So they're designed kind of what we were talking about. So you take one like every once in a while. These are only 2 milligrams. So I took one of these. I drank my CBD water, take a second one, and then I have a beer. Maybe that's a crossfade that's dangerous, but a beer is not so bad. So I like the body high more than the fucking like blah. So the high CBD, this is telling Jeff, this is 18 to 1 CBD to THC. So it's great.
Okay. So yeah, and then Jeff, you texted us an amount that was let's just say it was a grown-up amount. It was
Is that real?
It was something an adult would do.
You did comparable.
Well, do you want to tell everybody how much you've got right now?
210.
Jesus fucking Christ.
210.
And it was like,
and for you, that's probably not like that's not out of the ordinary, right? That's just like, yeah, whatever.
If I'm gonna take it, this is about how much I need to feel anything.
You took an edible or you smoked?
Yeah, okay. I took an edible. I ate all that. That was what I was demonstrating. You
just ate the whole thing?
Yeah, to get to that amount.
I guess if I ate this, it would only be 40. Yeah, I'm a bitch.
They don't really like sell the amount that I need for responsible adults.
Wow. That's the Shiba Chew, I'm telling you. I saw one, there was a pack. It was like a pack of 10, and they were each 50 milligrams.
That's in California versus MA.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I forgot. You're
this entire tin of 20 of these mints would be 100.
Yeah.
So Jeff would have had 2 of these and then a couple extras that he found like in the couch cushions or something, you know.
See, the problem with things like those, especially, and even if you start, it's like eat a quarter. I'm like, I don't have that kind of willpower sober. What the fuck do you think's gonna happen after I eat the first quarter? Like, I'm going back.
Cut off that little bit of the muffin, the next quarter of the muffin. You're like, fuck that, I'm gonna eat this whole muffin. I ain't no bitch.
Like, honestly, that's where I was at that time in my life. It was like, oh, you just jumped off of that cliff into the ocean, I'm coming next. Like,
that's fantastic.
So, it was fun, but then you just grow up.
The most I ever did in one fell swoop was 25 milligrams, and that I went to sleep like almost immediately. And then the next day I was like, what year is it? Like all day. I was so like spacey. Yeah.
What happened?
Who's president? Ronald Reagan? The actor?
I remember starting to smoke again after I had been sober for like several years.
Uh-huh.
And it was during the 2007 World Series. So I was watching the Red Sox against the Rockies, and just like the pitch sounds were so crisp. And it wasn't because I had some like nice system, but it was just like, I'm like, oh yeah, pitch. I hear it. I hear it.
What about the crack of the bat?
I wasn't as into that. It was
not as good.
The
glove catch, yeah.
Oh yeah, I hear that.
It's great. Is Christian frozen, or is he doing something on his phone?
I think he's just listening.
No. I'm just taking it all in. I wasn't sure what I could add to that.
Okay.
No. I'm not. I am not high. But I was doing some research. Probably a little high.
I sent you guys that link.
So Bladtcast.
Where?
When I first sent you something, when you first asked me about doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
It was like I said something, and then I sent a link, and then on that link it tells you like milligrams, how much to do, when you might start having a bad time, etc., etc.
Yep, leafy. See it. Got it.
Yeah, and these, reading about these after I bought them, not to make an informed purchase, but
don't do that.
Just the idea is that people take them for, like insomnia, which there are definitely times where I inexplicably can't sleep, which I should, I feel like I should be exhausted. And then, for any pain, which, I have no gain, but also no pain. So I don't, but I think I could see using them for more like, I just can't sleep, but boy, I really wish I could right now. All right. So I was able to do the research. The original longest runtime for a Bladtcast was episode 60. That was 2 hours and 15 minutes. And that was our first Spider-Man 2. Yeah, that was Spider-Man 2.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So Andrew Garfield Spider-Man 2. So then the new record went to Bladtcast 335, which was about the new Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Far From Home. And that is indeed 2 hours and 56 minutes.
Wow! So they're all Spider-Man episodes at the longest.
Well, that happened intentionally. That this one was going like I was determined for that one to be 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Got it.
And in true fashion of this show, there ended up being 40 extra.
Wow, that's impressive.
It was a true Snyderian endeavor.
We had how many segments that was. It's because it was us. Zia was with us. And then there's like separate segments. That's why it went so long. Because there's one where I did with my friend Brad, and then there's one with Rob Lorch. So yeah, we stretched that Spider-Man talk out to 2 hours and 56 minutes. You were there.
We were?
Yeah, we were part of it. He just added other people in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just high. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The other people came in late. So the first part was the way.
This is why you don't have kids. That's so mean. What a fucking shitty thing to say, but that's all I was like, how do you kick your kids out? You got to kick them out. So for whatever reason, the fact that he can't use fast internet is because of the children.
Look at this
What a lazy dog.
It's just I would have to be upstairs to use the fast internet, and when it's during the week, it's easy. Like when we did the Wonder Woman.
Can you hear everything we say?
Yes.
Oh my God! You hear me?
Don't say anything horrible.
It wasn't horrible. I was like, what's the first joke that came to mind if like the Wi-Fi gets fucked up? Is this? Yeah, I don't know why. That's just what popped in my head. I blame it on the marijuana.
Hey, I bought a bunch of music making stuff.
Oh, nice.
I don't blame that on the marijuana.
Oh, I'm about spark plugs for my car. Sorry, Christian. This is your show, and your Wi-Fi is working again. You should.
No, it's my show, but it's what I there's probably I have two laptops and both of them are bad in different ways, and the one I'm using right now is the one that's typically fine when I do shows, even from down here. But I don't know, it's hard to say what I think that maybe it's just you guys. You just drag me down, man, with your lag time.
Can that be the name of this episode? Bad in different ways.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
50 Shades Bad in Different Ways.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
so
WME dropped Army Hammer, which is great news for everyone. Fuck that.
WB.
Wow.
WME.
Oh. The world's men's eternity.
Well, William Morris, his agent. Yeah, no, his agency dropped him. Well, it's it's a problem though, because usually when people when they lose work or have something bad happen career wise, they might want to binge eat, and I hope he doesn't.
I hope he.
Would you have that fucking ready to go, or is that a joke you already made?
No, that was just right now.
Wow.
Come on.
That's a fucking
just because my internet's shitty doesn't mean I am.
Wait, did he really? What's going on?
You don't know any of this?
No,
I just cannibal.
He's a real cannibal?
No, but he has like cannibal fantasies.
He's cannibal fantasies?
Like he's told girls that he wants to like eat them and shit.
So he's Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, but he's also been accused of like being abusive in relationships and shit too. And so,
like, did he try to eat them? Did he ask them if they wanted to fly above the Andes?
His dirty talk was like, "I want to eat your fingers. Like, I want to fucking cook you in a barbecue." And they were like, "Okay," but he didn't actually. So thus far, I don't know if he's consumed anyone, but that's like how he talks dirty. Yeah. And then a lot of girls say he's emotionally abusive as well, and physically sometimes.
So they're just like concerned that somewhere he actually did eat somebody. Yeah. I understand the abusive stuff, and I understand that thing is weird. So it's like to have them both out there is like, okay, so are we then drawing the conclusion that somewhere out there, similar to the plot of whatever that spider tattoo movie's called,
he's got dragon tattoo?
Yeah. Sure. So he's got some chick locked up in his basement somewhere that we don't know about in Switzerland, and he's just like eating her piece by piece, or he's just like, is he watching different episodes of Hannibal and just like trying to get recipes? Like what?
Listen, Miles Mickelson is. Listen, he gives Anthony Hopkins a run for his money. I have to say, truthfully. What a great performance. What a great
Just like actor. Jared Leto gave Jack Nicholson a run.
The first Hannibal Lecter in the movie called Manhunter.
Oh, Manhunter with Brian. What's his name?
Cox.
Yeah. I love Brian Cox.
Imagine Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, Brian Cox, well.
I think
anyway,
Hammer should resurrect his career by playing Hannibal Lecter.
Who should resurrect it? Oh, Army Hammer.
I'd like to eat your liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. It's like, cool, you're the most unenthusiastic, like fucking boring leading man ever. Fuck off. I just never liked Army Hammer.
Just wait for the article to come out where he's in Variety about how he's pursuing his passion project.
Did you see Lone Ranger? Because I paid to see that in the theater.
I actually did end up seeing it, even though I love the Lone Ranger, and I just thought that was an abomination. And good score though. Good score. You know, sometimes that comes through.
Look at you finding something nice to say. Well,
yeah, great score, Hans Zimmer. You know?
Being Tonto cultural appropriation.
That was actually, I think, goes beyond cultural appropriation. Was like kind of racist. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Like. Yeah, cultural appropriation, I think, is different than what that was. It's I still don't understand that. Like, I guess because it was like 2013 or whatever, that's how they got away with it, you know?
Well, because of Pirates, and it was Gore Verbinski directing, and
it was a different time.
It was.
It's so crazy. It kind of was.
No, 2013 was a different time, you know? Yeah.
Well, watch the trailer for Lone Ranger, and Disney's just trying to make another Pirates of the Caribbean with Johnny Depp doing another Jack Sparrow, except they made him play like an indigenous person, which is so fucked up. And he's like, I'm 1/18th Cherokee, and it's like, okay, we don't really great. I don't know. It's like Elizabeth Warren of actress, I guess. She's like a little bit, right?
When he said that, I thought he meant like that his grandma.
His grandma what?
Fucked a Jeep.
Jesus Christ. I'm 18% Grand Cherokee. That's so wrong.
So anyway, gentlemen,
I'm trying not to embarrass myself.
So then the real question becomes: should we just always do the podcast this way? And then like each week I'll do 5 more milligrams until I try to catch up to Jeff?
I mean, I don't know. This is how Joe Rogan does every podcast, so maybe it's fine.
Hey, I thought you didn't want to hear Joe Rogan. I mean, he says pretty dumb shit, but he's also hugely successful, and
I mean, like cancelable dumb shit.
People like him for what he says, so you know, I can't say
who's just like,
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes
Christian, go.
What was that, Jeff? That wasn't my Wi-Fi. That was just sort of a glitch, a microphone glitch.
I was just saying that you can't cancel him. He'll just keep making them. Like with a show like his, where he already records it himself in his own little studio, and started it off recording it when no one wanted it. Like he'll just keep recording things with whoever and putting them out there, so you can't really cancel his show.
I'm not saying we should. Like, I don't. Canceling is also such a dumb fucking thing in general, to a certain degree, except for assholes like Armie Hammer. Anyway, I just genuinely don't like Armie Hammer when they're like, "Hey, he's actually a psycho," and we're kind of like getting rid of him. I was like, "This is great news. This is great." I just thought ever since from however many years ago when I first saw him, a douche,
great news.
In that Reaper
douchebag.
Smith.
What?
The first son.
Wait, what was it? What was he, Jeff?
There's like this show back in the day called Reaper or something, and the pilot was directed by Kevin Smith. And eventually in the show, Armie Hammer is the other son of Lucifer, because the show is the kid's like the son of the devil or whatever.
Right.
And that was like one of my introductions to him. Was like
that's before Social Network, right?
Well, that's before. Yeah. That show Reaper, by the way, was created by friends of mine who were really professional writers who I worked with somewhere that I was friendly with. But Michelle Fazekas and Tara Butters, they went on to be the showrunners of the Agent Carter TV show.
Oh, that's right.
So Yeah. So, but Heather and I liked that show Reaper. We liked the first season, and then I don't think we watched the second season. We were shocked that it got renewed, and we liked it, but I don't think we actually watched the second season. But
and that's why it got canceled after that because of you guys.
Because it was us. Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's good to know. All right. So what have we learned? Army Hammer canceled.
We've learned an
fired
episode
from WME. Donald Trump retires from SAG-AFTRA. He withdraws from SAG-AFTRA.
They've done nothing for him.
Jeff can take his dosage like a man. It really is this show where I have problems with the Wi-Fi. Not that I've never doing the other ones. It's really just it's just you guys. So I don't understand it.
Because Will's in upstream color.
Oh yeah, Will, are you gonna have to move? I forgot. I was thinking about this the other day because your roommate moved out. Are you staying there? Or are you gonna leave the valley?
I'm staying. I'm staying for a little while. We'll see.
All right.
Life is up in the air. This is a personal conversation, not to have on a podcast.
Okay, but you can say it you can just say that you might move somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be a point in a couple minutes where I won't be recording. So then there's that. Oh, wait. There'll be a point where I'm not recording.
Yeah.
Where I really am.
Go on, Will.
Well, what was it? What do you really think of everybody you've ever worked with? And Jeff, one day you can come back and we can all go to Joshua Tree, just whenever that is. I mean, Natasha's family's still out here, so you'd have a reason at some point.
Honestly, like once we're able to travel again, I know she's gonna want to go back, and I'm happy to go visit. Obviously, I loved California before it became so oppressive, and hopefully everybody. I'm just like, it's a bad place to be when you can't take advantage of like the good stuff there, right? Like there's a lot of good in LA, but if you're just stuck indoors in apartment living all the time, it's like the fucking worst place.
I mean, that's actually why, pandemic wise, the people that I feel the worst for, that I know anyway, in my life, the people that you hear about and you're just like, oh, that's terrible. The people who live like in Manhattan, you have these tiny little apartments, but the attraction is, we have everything you want outside that door. But then there comes a time where it's like, you cannot go outside that door. So you're basically in a room about as big as the one I'm in right now.
Yeah, I'm looking outside right now. I'm like, God, it's a beautiful day. I'm going to go outside, walk the dog. Like, it's so great out here. Yeah,
but it's nice here too. No. So,
So as we're talking on Saturday, the 6th of February, Jeff, do you find yourself hoping that Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl for another team?
Is he at the Super Bowl? Is he going to the Super Bowl? I don't know.
Fuck that guy.
Boo.
Fuck Tom Brady.
Again, here's my thing. I think anyone who's a true Boston fan is not likely to be rooting for Tom Brady, because the kind of fandom that you have here is that we all relish the current, like the people who are old enough to at least relish all the success we've had over the last decade or two because of how little we had for so long before that. So it's kind of like, I remembered what it was like to have all my teams be losers all the time. Sure. So I was psyched when we were winners all the time. And Tom Brady, with the way that he left, it was just like a big fuck you. So it's kind of like, yeah, fuck you too, man. And you went to Florida. You're literally a Trump person. And then in the height of the pandemic, moved down to Florida, and all the early stories about you are like, yeah, he was at a park with no mask on and was told by the police to like go home. He just walked in some family's house with no mask on because he thought he was going to visit Byron Leftwich. It's like literally a Trump person went away to go live in Trump land. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, we didn't really like to focus on the fact that you were a crazy political person, or like, and that you made that known. But now that you're gone, it's real easy to like think about that and be like, yeah, it makes sense. You'd probably be a lot happier being there. Like, good luck.
Yeah. So, will you actually watch any of the game? Do you not care about the game? Do you find yourself rooting for the Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm gonna root for the Chiefs. I like Patrick Mahomes. He was a guy where it was like, unless we were playing him, I always liked him. He's a likable guy, similar to other guys. Like I didn't like Peyton Manning because we had the rivalry and he just annoyed me. But in general, I knew that he was a likable guy. Patrick Mahomes, there wasn't much of a rivalry because he came in so late in the game comparatively. And it's easy to like the guy. He's really good. He's successful. He's nice. He's got a good personality in the media, what little I pay attention to. So why not wish well for this kid instead of Trump's BFF who went down to Florida, who already has 6. So fuck him.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's
right? Like,
yeah, I mean, you don't need any more. That's preposterous. Everybody gets it. Yeah, and also Pat Mahomes' dad was a pitcher for the Mets, so I like him for that reason. But anyway, so yeah, it'll be fun. I think to see what happens in the Super Bowl. I like restaurants like letting you know that they like party trade. Anyway, don't worry. We're winding down. But no, I see that for the Super Bowl, you like all these restaurants are like offering like big party trays and tons of food and stuff. And you're like, wait, are people still going over? And did I just not get invited to a Super Bowl party? Because I feel like they're not happening. But maybe just people want to eat like 50 wings,
I think that's there's nothing wrong with the people that want that. So you shouldn't judge them. Some people need 50 wings themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, look, I would love to be able to eat 50 wings. And Will, did you know that the Super Bowl was tomorrow, or did this come?
I keep forgetting. Yeah, but I didn't. I read something where it was like this next quarterback might be like the new Tom Brady, and it's the one who's playing for the team also with him. And I was like, oh, Tom Brady's going to the Super Bowl again with a different team. Like, I'm not watching. I don't really care. Whatever.
He's with Tampa Bay.
Yeah. And the Super Bowl is actually being played in Tampa Bay. It's the first time that that one of the teams in the Super Bowl is playing it in their home stadium. So
wow,
that's fun.
How embarrassing would it be for him to lose after this is his 10th Super Bowl?
Yeah,
and now he's going to lose it at home, like he deserves.
Like he deserves to.
From someone who's not a sports fan.
I hope his shoulder gets Theismann just like this.
What did you say, Will? From someone who's not a sports fan?
Oh, that's great. That would be great irony
for him to not.
Yeah. No.
Nobody. Who's going to be excited for him to win another?
Do
Super
you
Bowl?
think Coltrane is still a Tom Brady fan? Did we talk about this with him?
I don't know if we. I can't remember if we asked him.
I don't remember. Here's the thing. Again,
will he call in sick to work on Monday if they lose?
Probably.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes.
I just want to make the case. When Ray Bork went to the Avalanche, that was good because he hadn't won anything. So we were like, here you go. Go ahead.
Go.
Into the Stanley Cup. Enjoy. Everybody cheered for him. Tom Brady is like, I don't want to sign with you again. Fuck you guys. I'm going to Florida where I don't have to wear a mask. And where people aren't going to ask me about my cool masseuse friend, Andrew Gutierrez.
Who is Andrew Gutierrez?
That's the guy he does TB12 with. So it was like back when he was with the team, there was all sorts of stories where it's like the dude was hurting people and Brady was basically like forcing people to go to his TB12 thing. And people were like, this is not good medicine. Like, why are we doing this?
Wow. But
that's, you're not there.
That's the kind of stuff that you look the other way when he's your team, you guy on your team, and he's winning Super Bowls. Well, I don't know. I'm excited. There's going to be some Wayne's World commercials during the Super Bowl. So they've teased that already. I think that's I don't know. I because Monday is my birthday, I get to kind of carve out a little bit of time this weekend. I got to do this with you guys. I might actually get to watch the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, wow.
We'll see. At least some of it. We have 2 TVs now. What's that?
Who's the other team?
The Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Got it.
Question. I would actually like to know this from someone who is an old school 49ers fan. Did they cheer for Joe Montana on the Chiefs?
I feel like they probably did, right? Because they like loved him more than anything else, you know?
I don't know. Maybe.
Get us your answers. Any of your you
anybody from the Bay Area?
Mm-hmm. Anybody who's got Bay Area in their blood.
Something to 80 something.
We'll see what kind of answer we can get for Jeff. All right. This wasn't any kind of train wreck from the medicinal side. Just the
not a train wreck, but
digital side.
Not a whole lot of great. I don't even know what we talked about. Like people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" And we managed to do it for almost 2 hours. Wow.
It was an hour and a half. That's not almost 2 hours. Let's be honest. We talked about Donald Trump and SAG-AFTRA. We talked about Army Hammer. I mean, come on.
Riveting content. Riveting. Oh, I have yet to see an episode of WandaVision, so maybe I'll try to catch up on that over the next.
Very
week.
good.
Are you going to watch King Kong versus Godzilla?
I saw the trailer. It was a lot more silly than I was hoping for.
So what did you expect for Godzilla versus King Kong?
He makes a hammer out of it.
Yeah, what is that? I want them to fight each other once and then pair up and fight Mechagodzilla. That's the whole, or Mecha Ghidorah.
What you want is that you want it to basically be Batman versus Superman, but Godzilla versus King Kong. So there's 8 minutes where they fight, and Godzilla's practically dead, and he's got him on the ropes, and then he looks up and says, "Take care of Mothra." Did you say Mothra?
What did you say?
How do you know Mothra?
Also knowing that just popped into your head right now is really, really, really great. Don't
again
kill Mothra. Both their moms' names are Mothra.
Oh, anyway,
favorite joke in a very, very long time. Huh?
I think you'll enjoy WandaVision. Will remember you were all done with
me writing. Exactly. But like reviews have been strong, and it seems like people are into it. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll give it a go.
I was going to say you were all done with Marvel movies, but that didn't mean you were done with.
That's true. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm very excited about.
Yeah. So I think you'll enjoy this. So you should check it out and let us know what you think. And if anybody in the audience is interested in our weekly wrap-up show that we do about WandaVision, Marvel Movie News is Fridays at 2 Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And you can join me and a host of other hosts, as it were, as we talk about that. 5 episodes in, only a few more to go. Jeff, do you have Disney Plus? Have you watched any WandaVision, or have you not watched it yet?
I have watched them all.
Yeah. Well, let's ruin everything for Will. But are you enjoying it? Just more of a up or down?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, it's tough for me, a show, like a weekly show at a half hour on a streaming service like this. Like, it made sense for the pacing of cable TV, where you have your blocks and you're going through it, right? Like, oh, we expect you to watch for like these 2 hours, so we'll have a couple of shows that you might like, and so like the half-hour show wasn't so bad. But for me, it's like watching a streaming show that short. I'm always like, I waited a whole week for that, and now it's over so quickly. Like, I need some more. Like, I wish they were just like The Mandalorian. To me, when they're at the like 40-minute mark, is like where I would rather the length.
Yeah, that was my question. Are these like do the times make sense, or is it like The Mandalorian where there's like a 40-minute episode and like a 27-minute?
It's like Mandalorian. They're about 40 minutes, 40 minutes. But it's not consistent at all. It's like The Mandalorian in that way. Mandalorian had like a 27-minute episode, and I was furious. That one. It was in season 1.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
I don't know. I just remember that you see when you're about to start it, you see how long the running time is, and you're like 27 minutes. Come on.
The fuck? Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not a real complaint to be like, I wish there was more of this show. There's just not enough of it. What the fuck? Yeah. I'm just like, it's hard for me. I would rather just be able to watch this whole story at once, because it's like, it doesn't seem like this. And maybe I'm just thinking it too insularly, but like, this doesn't seem like it fits the pandemic model, right? This makes sense when you can chit chat with your friends every week at work about, oh, we did this, we did that. Like with shows and stuff, you can have more communal talks about them. I don't know if people are doing that online. Maybe that's the case. Versus just being able to binge it and then, all right, now I know what happened.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it is fun because
seem like they make any money doing it different. Like, does it get them? Is the idea of like, oh, if we keep releasing it this way, people will just talk about it enough every week, so that other people be more convinced to buy it?
Well, in the one scenario, you only need to be subscribed for a weekend. In the other scenario, you need to be subscribed for 9 weeks. So that's probably part of it, is the business side of it. But it is fun because, doing the show where we talk about it and you have a lot of people in the chat, there's always so many theories about what's going on and what this could mean and what that could mean and what are we going to see next week. It's fun to be able to do that aspect of it. Whereas when it's a binge show, it's like, no, I haven't seen episode 7 yet. Stop, So, but it's, yeah. And
it makes
I don't
sense.
know. I think that
you would have a model for it. I'm saying from my experience, it's like, doing a weekly show doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I think that for people who are like somewhere in the near future going to binge the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian and consume it that way, I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous of that, But what I'm really jealous of is the fun time that we had today celebrating Bladtcast 420. None of us showed up in tie-dye or white guy dreadlocks because we already established that it's not okay. It is not okay.
That's right.
But if people want to keep in touch, they can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChristianDMZ. And Will, where do people find you?
At Will Sterling _. It's up there on your screens.
And Jeff, you like to be found sometimes, don't you? You just did a shrug. Yeah. At Jeff Duray if you want him, or at Duray _Jeff. I remember now that Will's going in. Did you see that? Because he's like, oh, finally the show's over. Now I can really start to have fun.
Fucking go.
Anyway, I thought that I would give a little ditty on the way out. That there'll be a part where you guys can join in. And of course, at Christian DMZ, like the Bladtcast on Facebook, at Bladtcast, BLADTCAST. Join us for our next episode, which the video is up now for 421, but the audio version will be up after this. And that is my 50-minute interview with musician Don McLean of American Pie fame, which was a lot of fun. So check that out. And we'll be back sometime soon. But now I was just going to bring it on home with I wrote some alternate lyrics, and I was very proud of myself. I was gonna do the cast till I got high. I was gonna write some topics too, but then I got high. This show is all messed up, and I know why. Why, man? Because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high. That's all I did. I wrote like 2 lines, but I thought it was fun, and then I could put Afro Man under us, and he can really bring it on home.
Nice. Yeah. Quick question: did you ask Don McLean if he knows Jason Biggs?
No, but there is those movies do come up, and it's a very interesting tidbit that he in 1986 he got the copyright on the phrase American Pie, and so I asked him about that and in terms of the movies, and he has a really interesting answer, which made me very happy to hear what it was. So I'm teasing it forward. Thanks, Jeff, helping me promote 421 for people who haven't watched it yet on the Bladtcast YouTube channel, which you can also subscribe to. That's all the time we have for now. But because we got high, we will see you next time on the Bladtcast.